All right. I think it's live. All right. Looks like it's live. Hey there, Declan. How's it going? All right. Awesome. All right. So I've got my keyboard. I've got the camera. I've got some water. Got my microphone. Got my phone. I think it's ready to get started. Oh, it's 5:58. I'll wait a little bit longer since I said it would start at 6. So we're starting a little bit early, but that's all right. I'm just excited. We have a glorious thunderstorm going on right now where I'm at, so it got me in a good mood. We don't get too much rain here in the summer. I'm doing pretty good, Declan. Yeah, it's been a pretty good day. It's Friday, so I was very productive this morning. Got a lot of work done. Then got to go out to lunch with my roommate. It's been a long time since we've done anything to just hang out, so yeah, it's a good day. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting things started with here and seeing what we come up with today, because today is a big day. Today we're going to turn these motifs into, or at least a couple of them, as many as I can, into full-on musical phrases, all right, to give us an idea for what kind of themes we're going to be working with. All right, it's 5:59 now. I'll wait one more minute and then we'll get started. Let's see here. Looks like there's a bit of a lag. That's all right. All right, 6 o'clock, where I'm at. Let's get started. So let's give this a quick lesson. We've got the first motif. All right, like I said, let's refresh actually real quick. What did we say we were going to use for the climax? Texture, melody based on. So bigger texture, introducing new voices, register, maximum space across the dynamics, a lot of this part. All right, so that's something, but it's nothing to worry about too much at the moment. Right now, how's it going, George? Welcome to the stream. All right, so let's give this a quick listen to. Let's see what the motif we're working with right now is. Okay, I remember this one. All right, so we've got the first statement. Let's see what happens if I just repeat this line verbatim. And then, because I don't want to repeat it completely. But listening to a full-on repetition, at least now, might give an idea of what direction I can take it in. I'm going to worry about chords last. And what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, is raise the whole thing. Let's see here. I think if it comes back down to B, that'll be a nice lack of resolution. So let's see, let's have that be on a D. I like this ending. So then how do we lead up to that though? So let's see. Oh, good point, Declan. Yeah, I love... It's a good point. It reminds me a lot of the Prince of Egypt soundtrack as well. Oh, I love that soundtrack. Oh, Hans Zimmer and Stephen Schwartz. What a dream team that was. Incredible, just giants of film and Broadway coming together for that one. So let's see, then maybe... So at this point, all I'm doing is I've copied and pasted the original motivic idea, and I'm just changing it up a little bit. There's not too much rhyme or reason to it at the moment. Sometimes I like to be a lot more structured in how I deliberately manipulate the motif, but I'm just getting started right now today. I'm not feeling too structured at the moment, so I'm going off my ear a bit. All right, I've listened to the original, and I want to try and see how it just feels to come organically from that. Maybe if this is a G sharp, or an F. No. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Good one. Right, right. The intro song. Yeah, the intro song from Prince of Egypt. That's exactly. Yeah, this is giving me some strong vibes of that too. Oh, hey, I'm glad to help, Beer. I say, oh yeah, I should probably start reading comments out too because for whatever reason, last week's video it didn't show the comments. But Beer Hop says, I found your channel a couple weeks ago and have learned a lot since. I'm really glad. All right, that's why I do this stuff. I love. It took me so long to figure this stuff. It was such a struggle trying to find stuff because there's so much contradicting information. Then some stuff that seems helpful but it's not helpful, and so I'm trying to make composing more available to more people because right now there's just such a belief that composing is this mystical, difficult thing, and it doesn't have to be. So I'm really glad. Thank you for letting me know I'm helping out. Oh, I do like that E to A. Let's see how that sounds actually together. Let's see, with that E to A at the beginning, I like that. And I like the D to B. But I don't like them together. Alright, so let's see what happens if I just drop these down. What if I just delete that? No, don't like that. Alright, let's just start from scratch, delete this again. We'll copy and paste this again. We'll raise it a minor third and just see how that sounds. Alright, it could work, it could work. Hey, Trash Beats from Zimbabwe saying that my videos have been helping a lot. I'm glad. Oh my gosh, Zimbabwe. Wow. That's it. It always blows my mind to know that people from different parts of the world are enjoying my videos. So thank you. I'm very grateful that I'm able to help you guys out. It means a lot to me. So thank you for sharing that with me. All right, let's see here. So okay. I'm gonna play this until I'm sick of it. All right, so I'm thinking that initial jump, I think, is going to be very important, a very important motif. Yeah, what if we move that to a C? No, I'm still not feeling it. This one is tricky. So what if I what if I try Retrograde? So Retrograde is a cool little trick in music writing. Very useful, actually. And I'm wondering if it's going to work here. The idea being that you take an idea and you flip it backwards. All right. So we started like, okay, we've got the last note of our previous motif was a B held for a dotted quarter note. Then it was a C, D. So we're basically creating a mirror image. Oops. And it's going to give us a different sound, but a similar contour. Very related. So it's going to sound different, but related to the initial material. Let's see how this works out. I don't think it's a complete retrograde is what I'm looking for, but I think that's getting closer. We're getting closer. I'm thinking we're going to go up a little higher. But it's tricky because I don't want to go higher than a 12th. So, because typically to keep a melody lyrical, to keep it singable, whistleable, hummable, however you want to put it, catchy. In other words, you want to keep a melody within about an octave. Typically never wider than a 12th, which is an octave plus two notes, I believe. And it's because that if it gets too wide, it goes beyond the average range that the person has to sing. It's not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to whistle it. So I don't want to go too much higher than say like an F, but I'm thinking I want to go up at that point. Let's try lowering this. Nope, not working for me. All right, so this approach is not working for me. Typically, I would like to try a couple more times. At least like a half hour, just banging my head on the keyboard, freaking out. So I was like, all right, gotta make it work. How do I add some variation? It's not working for me to go for the melody first, so now I'm going to switch tactics. All right, I'm going to try and do chord progression first. If I can figure out what chords I want to come next, then I can work on the melody from there. Let's see here. So that's an E major to G minor, E major. If I try to keep going with tertiary harmony, then I can do B minor. Ooh, I like that. Let's try that. B major. Check that down for proper voice leading. Let's get rid of that so we can bring these down a bit. Then that's the next one would be D. So let's try D major. Bring those down. Let's mute the melody a little bit. Let's see how these chords sound in and of themselves. I like that. It almost sounds a bit too heroic to me, but I think we can make that work. All right, let's see here. So E major to G major to B major, then to D major. So those are all, nope, wait, yep, those are all major chords. All right. So that is major tertiary progression. If you haven't seen it yet, check out my tertiary harmony video for the harmony series. It explains everything behind it. But now we have 4 chords where we had 2 previously. Let's see how we can make this work. So previously we started with the root. So let's try the root here. Actually, I don't like working with the root. Let's try with the F sharp, which is the 5th, but the way the chord is voiced is in the same position as the root was for the initial one. So let's try. And then we went from E sharp to G, so we went up a 5th, but we can't go up a 5th without going to the 7th, which the 7th is not in our chord at the moment. You know what, actually let's give it a try. Let's try the 7th. Nope, don't like that, because that would have been a dominant 7th. And the dominant 7th doesn't work too well in my opinion, in this melody at least. So let's go up to the B, which would be the next note in relationship to what we had been. We did E to G, or E to G in the chord, F to B here. So the 5th to the root, let's hold it for a dotted quarter note. And then we went, let's go to the D sharp for our last one. All right, so what we're doing here, I think this is actually starting to work a little bit, but what we're doing here is something called sequencing, which is the idea where you take the initial motif and all you do is raise it up or down a couple steps. All right, now it's not exact sequencing. Exact sequencing would be if I took this exact idea right here, copied it, pasted it, and raised everything like 1, 2, 3. I think we tried that earlier. Didn't work. It was meant to inspire, but it didn't. But what we're doing here is, I'm blanking on what the official term is for it, but I'm just going to call it approximate sequencing. I'm keeping the same basic idea here. The same, where there's a leap, there's another leap. Where there's a, that's another leap, so another leap. Basically sticking to the general shape and the same rhythmic idea. And even then we might shift the rhythmic idea in a little bit. But for now, all I'm doing is looking for inspiration. And finding these chords actually seems to be helping quite a bit with that. So then we went from here to D, which was the 5th of our second chord. So let's see about going to an A here. Uh-oh, nope, no, not going to do that, because the A would take us there, and that would be the distance of much more than an octave. This is our octave, so it's an octave plus a perfect fourth. Not going to do that. So not going up to the A. So here we're going to deviate from the initial use of the motif. Actually, let's see how it was. We went up a minor third for the last one. 1, 2, 3. An F sharp. That might work. Let's give this a try. Maybe. I'll keep it for now. Let's start stepping down like we did earlier. Oops, that's just a quarter note, not a dotted quarter note. Let's see that. Let's give this a quick listen to. It's something. That's definitely something. I don't think I'm 100% happy with it, but it's something. All right, let's see. Thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy says, hello, I'm new to this channel, but it's gold. I appreciate it. I really do. So, yeah, I am reading out comments just as a reminder. If you want to post anything, just because for whatever reason I haven't figured out how to make YouTube share the live comments afterwards. But Trash Beats, how about you do 3 questions and 1 answer, or 2 questions, 2 answer, and change up a note at the end of the 4th measure? Good idea. Thank you. Yes. So that is a good idea. So what he's bringing up, or what Trash Beats is bringing up, is the concept of questions and answers in music. So I touched on that in my video on Prevade, on turning motifs into full-on melodies. And that's basically what I'm doing here for the most part. Well, there's a couple things. And I actually have a video planned on releasing this for the melody series, very early in the series. I think it's going to be like the 2nd or 3rd video. We're going to go very in-depth on question and answers and what makes a complete and incomplete phrase. But for now, the basic idea is that a question in music is going to sound incomplete. Like it can't keep going. So for example, if we're in the key of C, if I were to go, that's a question, because it feels incomplete. At the end of it, like that's not a full phrase, but the idea is the fact that it ended on that 4th has a lot of momentum. It makes you want to keep going. And that would be an answer, because that feels a lot more solid at the end. It feels like, okay, I mean, it wasn't a perfect way to end it, but it sounds like a way to end the phrase. It would sound a lot more, it would make a lot more sense to end it there than it did at the previous point. Make sense? So yes, so what you're recommending is I tried doing multiple questions. And that's a very good point. What if I did some stuff here to make it sound a little less complete after each of them, so that since I'm going to do 4 variations basically, by the end of the phrase, by this measure 95, 96, wow, we are far into this stuff, we'll be able to bring it home a little bit more and have a nice payoff. I do like that idea. Let's see if we can get that going. Okay, so I'm actually thinking, let's see, bring that D. Let's try going up to the G. So what chord do we have under here? We have a D major. So let's see, we could do an E. So that would be the 9th. The G is going to be a harmonic avoidance note. All right, that's a minor second above the third of D major. So it doesn't make a lot of sense in the harmony, but in the melody it might sound a little crunchy in a good way. Let's listen to this. Nope, didn't like that. And the main reason why that did not work is we have it held over, I gotta keep reminding myself that this is not 4/4 time, but we do have this on a relatively strong beat in 7/8 time. So if we break this into 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, it's still a downbeat. If we do 1 2 1 2 3 1 2, I guess it's an offbeat there, but yeah, it's just this eighth note right before it helps emphasize it as a kind of pickup note, especially since that E doesn't belong in the chord. So we start in D, which is the root of the chord. Then the E is very short afterwards. So the idea is that the E is a non-chordal tone. It's shorter than the chordal tone that came before it, so it has lots of momentum. It wants to push forward and arrive at a nice chordal tone. But that's not working for us. I'm going to bring it back down to F sharp because that makes more sense with the chord. Plus, I don't want to go much higher than F sharp. Since we start in E, I don't want to go too much higher. Because again, trying to keep it close to that octave to a 12th range. All right, so that's a decent idea. I do like that. Thank you, Trash Beats, for the recommendation for the questions. That's a good point. I'm going to try and do one more question. So the cool thing about this is, well, let's actually listen to that one more time. So we ended on a third there, and we're ending on a third here. All right, let's do bum 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 ba da da bum 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 ba da da. All right, forgive my singing there. A nice high falsetto. But where do I want to go from here? All right, so we have D major. If we continue the pattern of going tertian harmony, we could try an F major. So let's mute the melody again. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'll just play the melody, the chords. I like that. Then let's see here. Tertian harmony can get tricky because if you keep going for too long, it's going to sound like it's and I've actually been ignoring one of my own rules in tertian harmony. All right, so we started with E. What is our key here? I have not been careful with that. That's on me. I thought this sounded weird. All right, so we got to make sure that we're getting this E in here a little bit more. So how am I going to get that E in here, especially? So we got the E here. At the very least, I want to make sure that I'm getting the E on this beat. What if we tried just ignoring tertian harmony for a bit and just starting over basically, this time with an E minor. So let's see. I do like that. Let's bring that up. Oops, a little bit too low. So E, so G, B, E, that's an E minor. Let's move down from E to make sure that we have that E present. And we need this E in here in the mix. And then it would be A. Let's do A major. And then we'll just go back to E major. Alright, this is not following any rhyme or reason at the moment. So I am probably going to have to adjust this quite a bit. At this point, I'm just kind of throwing stuff in, which I know I should not be doing. But I am. Alright, and that's what happens sometimes. Let's see. Yes, C Ray beats. Yes, it does sound off. I'm working on that. Yes. So my main issue here is I started using Tertian Harmony, but I forgot to make sure I was keeping my root repeated. And so what happened is I kind of dug myself into a corner where I had gotten enough measures ahead that suddenly I needed to reestablish where my tonal center was. But I wasn't following the pattern I should have been following for that. So let's see how these chords sound. No, don't like that ending there. All right, let's see here. I don't know. I feel like it's building up to too much. So, well, yeah, this is my fault. I dug myself into this corner. All right, but I do kind of like this. Ooh, you can hear that. Like I said, there's a glorious thunderstorm. We very much needed rain going on where I'm at right now. I say, looks. Hey, Luca Grulot says, oh, I hope I pronounced that right. Hey, recently discovered your channel, and for the past couple of days, I've been listening to all of your videos one by one in order of release. They're so awesome. Thank you for the content you put out. Thank you, Luca. I am very grateful to hear stuff like that. Like I said, I love putting out this stuff and helping other people learn how to compose because it was so hard for me to study this on my own when I first started out. And so I'm really trying to help make this stuff more accessible and more easily understood. I don't know like what everybody else's experiences, but like on the online forums and stuff, I always found lots of gatekeeping in terms of like people not being too supportive of beginners trying to learn how to compose. And maybe I was just looking in the wrong places. But thank you. Yes, I love to hear that I'm helping people. So thank you, Luca. Let's see. So I've got this idea for the melody. So I do like that. It's definitely weird. It's modal. Sounds maybe Phrygian. I don't know. I'm not the best at recognizing that stuff by ear. Definitely got some crunch in there. Got some dissonance, which I like. But we have E major to G major, B major, then D major. So yeah, you know what? Maybe what I'm gonna so then we came back down to E minor. Let's see here. Good point. Kimmy says that they like this. They like the sound it has, and maybe stop fretting over the chords so much and work on the melody, and it'll start to come to pieces a little bit better. Good point. Thank you, Kimmy. I think I might try that because sometimes I do get in my own head a bit too much. Let's listen to this a bit. Alright, so let's see here. Let's just crank out a couple notes here like we did for when we were writing the motifs. E minor, so F sharp, let's go down to the B, no, I don't like going to. No, we'll go with B. I don't like using the root right away. But then we'll go down to B. Because I don't want to go up to past F sharp. Then, let's see. So the next one is C major. So let's go back to the E here. Because I do want to make sure I really emphasize this E because I did not emphasize it nearly enough in this first half. And I do need to make sure this piece stays in at least a tonal center of some sort. So then E to C. Then C sharp. Let's just say E. Then B. Or B. Let's see here. So let's listen to what we got here, and then we'll see if we can break it into a rhythm or make some better selections. All right, kind of like that. Let's see here. So that's G, B, E, G, B. So if I do, the D would belong in that. So E major. Let's add a D sharp for an E major 7. Nope. Nope. We'll come back to that. Either way, so we've got this. I do like that jump. What is that? That's a perfect fourth. I gotta work on my ear a little bit better. I've been trying to work more on developing my ear to recognize intervals from hearing them. I have gotten better at it. That is something. I can recognize stuff when it's going up better now, but coming down is always a bit trickier for me. Let's see here. So let's try. So these previous ones, we've been starting everything on the offbeat, actually, to the key. Everything's missing the first eighth note of the measure. So let's definitely switch that up here. And then so let's see here. So G to B. B, so E minor. So a D would be the 7th. Let's try and add a D there. I do like that, so let's see. I think there's something there. So then we come back down to the C. So then we come up to here. Then come back down here. So a G, I could probably do a G sharp. It's risky, but since we were only down here for the first E, technically we could bring that up a bit. So then E-G. Ooh, yeah, you can really hear that thunder. Let's see here. AMZE. Thank you. I'm glad that you found my channel so interesting. But they ask, I was wondering, in terms of music, are you also into the composition of classical music? Yes and no. Depends on what you consider classical. If you're going strictly by the period of music, classical, I gotta say, I'm fascinated with the idea of writing a symphony. I think that'd be amazing. But if you're talking more about like the concert work, I think that's more what I'm interested in as well. I love writing for media. I love writing for stuff like that, but there's just something about program music or music that's written to evoke a story in and of itself that I find very alluring. And I would love to write a piece to be performed live in concert one day. That would be just amazing. Fingers crossed it'll be sometime soon. But yes, I love composing for all genres, really, if I can. I like writing for genres that I'm terrible at. I'm teaching myself how to write electronic music now with synths. And so I was on Discord with a buddy of mine. We used to be roommates. He was just playing Minecraft, and I was just messing around with a synthesizer, and it sounded awful. But I was eventually able to make something out of it, and so I was super excited about that. But that's a bit of a tangent. Yeah, so I love writing all kinds of music, and I would love to have the chance to write a more concert repertoire focused type music. And Trash Beats sounds good so far. Don't do too much. Keep it simple, bro. Very good point. Thank you, Trash Beats. Yes, keep things simple, especially this early. We're just looking for an initial phrase. So I don't want to get too carried away with too much material going on. But here, I think there's something there. I just don't know how I want to end it. Let's listen to it with the chords. Alright, I know I said I was going to start on that downbeat, but I'm kind of... Let's cut that down. Let's try cutting that down. Ooh. Alright, so that did sound better in my head. Because I forgot what chord was underneath it, and which I shouldn't have, but it happens. All right, composing isn't always a simple. You're never going to be genius, no matter how much studying you do. Well, maybe you're different, but I should say I am never going to be genius, no matter how much studying and practice I get in. And I'm going to make simple mistakes. For example, here in an A major, an F sharp's going to be quite dissonant. All right, that is, what is it? That's a 2, 4, 6. So that's a 13, which I guess technically as a 13 it works because it's a tension, but I just don't care much for, at least not on the downbeat. Let's see how that sounds if we shorten it. See, there we go. See, I fixed it. All right, it sounded super dissonant when I was forcing it with the rest. But a nice little tip for dissonance is if you make the dissonance weak, meaning that it comes after the chord change and not with the chord change. A chord change that happens, a dissonance that happens on the chord change is strong. If you have it on afterwards, it becomes a little more palatable to the ear because it hears them as separate and not quite as related to each other. All right, sounds nice. So AMZE says, sounds nice. I'm not exactly sure what quality or feel you are trying to go for with the track here, but perhaps if you want a suspenseful build-up with rather a soaring quality, you should make use of augmented chords. For instance, when you are going from the first degree to the fourth degree. Very good. Yes, augmented chords are fantastic. And to be honest, I don't quite know what vibe I'm going for here. I know it's supposed to be a bit of adventurous kind of feel. It's supposed to be a little heroic, not too much, but really here I'm just letting the music come organically from the original motif that we were working with. And each of these, because if you remember, I've got to do 5 of these. 5 motifs that I'm stretching into a full melodic phrase to figure out what I want to do with them. And then from there, I'm just going to pick my favorites to see which one I'm going to develop into a full theme for these characters. And I don't know if this one's going to make it, but it's something I'm working on, so at the end of the day, I can be happy with it. But I'm liking this idea here. Yes, augmented chords can have a very similar function to dominant chords. But with, let's see here. So yeah, they can have a similar reaction to dominant chords, but tertiary harmony right now, which is what I'm working mostly with, is non-functional. So the dominant function here isn't quite what I'm working with, which it would be a fantastic choice in functional, and I could make it work here too. But let's see. Oh yeah, I could make it work. At this point, I'm just being lazy though. I've already got the chords figured out. I'm making them work, so I'll keep them. But thank you for the suggestion. I will include that. I'll keep that in mind for the next motif, because we do have 4 more of these that I need to turn into phrases. Luca Groy, I'd be curious to hear what you think about John Powell. John Powell, that's the composer who did How to Train My Dragons, right? I think so. I'm blanking. I know the name, and I'm pretty sure that's who it is. All right, I'm Googling it. Yes, it is. Oh, I love his music. And I know I might feel like seem like a total poser now because I had to Google who he was. But I swear, I did know who he was. Oh, that music's incredible. All right, so there's so much to love about those film scores. But I think one of my favorite pieces, in terms of things I can listen to and it just blows me away every time, is Stoic's funeral. All right, spoiler alert. All right, there's a funeral for a character named Stoic in the second movie. I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking for words at the moment, but it's just the score for that scene is incredible. Nice, quiet choirs, ambience, and just when that climax comes, when they light the boat on fire for the Viking funeral. Oh, if you haven't listened to it, you owe it to yourself to listen to that. It's incredible music. I love it so much. I've listened to it on repeat so many times. Okay, there are a couple things that I want to achieve, like go to concerts. I want to go to a How to Train Your Dragon live concert where they perform the music. I want to go to one for Lord of the Rings as well, and there's a couple other movies that I would love to see. But yes, I love John Powell's music. And if I'm correct, I think he has a YouTube channel. I think he has a YouTube channel where he posts his music, and he even does analysis videos of it. So check it out. I might be thinking of a different film composer, but I think that's that. All right, say just I'm going to keep trying, bro. It's all about what sounds good. We all hear it. Yes. Thank you, Trash Beats. And yeah, I feel like it's great to share learning process and just share musical ideas together. Yes, and that's exactly what I'm doing this for. So when I first started these videos, there is a significant lag going on. Sorry about that. But so when I first started these live videos, I was super nervous. I had no idea what to expect from them. All I knew is that it was one of my biggest pet peeves teaching myself how to compose. That I would watch these compose like love songs in an hour type videos. And they were amazing. I learned so much from them. And there are lots of YouTubers that I love. Alex Mukula, if you haven't checked out his channel, incredible composer, incredible channel. I learned so much from him. But there are just lots of YouTubers out there that do like live composing videos. And where it turns out where they had pre-written everything and they're just kind of showing it. And that has its points. It had some very good uses. But I did feel like it gave me a little bit of anxiety when I was trying to write my own music because things didn't seem to come as easily. So a big point to these videos is I want to show the good and the ugly of composing. I want to show the moments where you feel inspired and everything's coming to you and it's so magical and amazing and you feel like you are one with Beethoven and Mozart and all the muses or whatever. But also the moments when you're banging your head up against a keyboard thinking, I'm a fraud, I'm never going to write another piece of music again. Why did I choose this for the path I want to take? And I think it's important to show that aspect of it. I remember that was a real eye-opener for me. I've mentioned it before, but Disney has a podcast called Disney 4 Scores. I love that podcast so much. I listen to it more often than I should. But the first 5 episodes, the first 5 composers they all interviewed, all had the same story. They said, my process starts the same. I sit in front of my computer and I have a panic attack, thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have no idea how to write this music. They're all going to know I'm a fraud and I'm never writing another piece in my life. Even Hans Zimmer in his masterclass talks about that. And I think it's just an important part of the process to experience and to show that it's okay to feel scared at times. It's okay to feel stressed out. It's okay to feel like you're in a slump. I mentioned I'm learning how to make synths at the moment. And there are moments where I get really frustrated thinking, why can't I make the sounds I hear in my head? I know what I want to create. Why doesn't it sound like that? And I'll spend 3 hours working on something just as there's like, I failed. I did not get the sound I wanted. And I walk away thinking, I'm a failure. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I have to stop myself and think, nope. It's all part of the process, and that's okay. All right, I'm learning. All right, and of course I'm not going to be brilliant right out the gate. It's going to take time. It's a skill set. It's like learning a new instrument, which learning about synthesizers really is learning a new instrument. So I've been ranting. I'm supposed to be writing. Let's see. AMZE, yeah, I feel that a lot of people are pressured that they are not Beethoven and producing 10 pieces per day, or that the first idea does not really have to be the first great one. So do what you're doing. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly it. You do not have to feel pressured that your first idea is not your best. I think infamously the first idea I had for this series is god awful, and I refuse to delete it because it just reminds me that I'm going to have those times. All right, but let's see here. Let's get back to work. I don't like that G sharp. I feel like it's too consonant, if that makes sense. This entire piece is rife with little minor dissonances here and everywhere. And so then just to end right off the bat with, or that goes higher, a major third, the quintessential happy interval. I don't like that. So let's see here. Let's try an F. No, because that feels like we're not resolving anything. No, that doesn't work either. This is a pickle, to be sure. Alright, so the question is, can I get away with going up to the B? Let's see if it sounds good. Again, I feel like that's a bit too happy. Did I write myself into a hole here? What if I switch this from an E major to an E minor? No, because then that clashes with the G, because that's a third. I mean, doubling the third in the bass is the lowest note, which means that the overtones there's a lot of overtones between here and here that are clashing with these two notes. Or I guess it wouldn't really, yeah, so that doesn't work either. So let's see here. So E major. So what if I tried doing a dominant to try and lead back and then so then do an A. Sounds a bit better. But, not liking that. But we're so close. I can know. So I'm not getting bummed. I'm getting excited because there's something. I'm going to figure it out. IMZE. So you keep doing what you're doing. So art is really a matter of hard work and creativity. Yes. Perhaps a G? True. I did try that. Yes. Passing note. Perhaps move back into a major chord for the B. True. So I am trying that stuff. Let's see here. Aha! Maybe the secret isn't getting rid of that E. Let's get rid of that E. No, I don't think that worked. Let's see here. So if I do G, F sharp, so then let's try going back. Oh, let's not delete that. Let's try going back to the E major. Maybe. Let's see, I feel like, I mean, the G might work. It just sounds too happy for me for some reason. We'll leave it. I think that's good enough for now. Let's see here. How long have I been doing this? So about 50 minutes. We have about 10 minutes left. Let's see here. Let's give this a quick listen to. And then we don't got enough time to start working on a new phrase, I think. That's kind of my fault for talking too much. So instead, we can try reorchestrating this just a little bit. We'll leave it the B. I think the B sounds a bit more final. We can always adjust it because this is just a standalone phrase, and it will, of course, have to be adjusted if this is the one that gets selected for the final theme. Because I am fretting over a phrase that I might just ditch because I like a different one better. But let's try switching to the horns to see how this melody sounds in there. Too high. Oh yeah. All right, Declan, if you're still on, that comment of it sounding like the Prince of Egypt, it definitely sounds like Prince of Egypt in the horns. I do think I like the A a bit better. And so the A is going to be tricky though. The A in an E major is going to be a harmonic avoidance note. So what if I change that to an E minor? There's a bit of lag between those sound libraries. That's still a dissonance. Let's try putting it off a bit. It's something. I'll leave it there for now. One thing I do want to do is I want to hold these out. So these are called suspensions. A suspension is a chordal tone from a previous chord that gets held longer than the rest of the chord and ends up bleeding into the next chord. So it goes from being a chordal tone or something from the chord into being a non-chordal tone, something that doesn't belong, and above that is dissonant. All right, so it's being held, but then quickly resolves downward by step. So if it were to move up by step and resolve that way, it'd be called a retardation. But so this one right here, this one is a retardation. The D, oh, no, it's not, because the D is not a chordal tone here. But it's something similar. Here we have another retardation. And E belongs to the C major chord underneath it. The E gets held over, and no, that's not a retardation either, sorry, because there's an E in this chord. I should look a bit closer before I start talking. Anywho, we have an example of one suspension here. That is a D sharp, which belongs to this chord, but does not belong to this chord, and nonetheless is held over and resolves downward. It gets a nice little feeling to it. No, I don't like the A anymore. better. Let's put in a quick bass line. E. We'll get quarter notes. Then G. Then B. Then D. Then E. We're going to have to switch these down a bit. Then C. Nope. Then A. Then E. Alright, so let's see here. So we're moving up here. No, let's leave it there. We'll move that down. Let's give this a quick listen too. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that is it for this initial phrase. Not gonna lie, it took a lot longer for me to come up with a melody for this phrase than I would like to admit. I was hoping to get 2 phrases done today, but, you know, I think that's, you can't always call it, and I do really enjoy talking with you guys. So there are a few minutes left. It looks like 5 minutes left to the hour. I'll stay in a little bit longer. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now. And then I'll be taking off a little bit. So thank you, everybody who's taken off. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. I love talking with you guys. I love writing with you guys. And I love the incredible feedback and support you guys are showing. Thank you so very much. I am incredibly grateful to all of you. So thank you. And I will see you all in the next video. But for now, let's see here. Optimus Prime. Hey man, your tips on voice leading and functional harmony have been life-changing to me. Awesome. All right, I'm so excited. I love hearing that stuff. Sorry for my creaky chair. But yes, I am. So and here, look at me. I'm stuttering. I get genuinely excited when I hear about people who are understanding and having things click for them because of my videos, because that's exactly what I'm doing this stuff for. I love to help other people write music. For much of my life, I thought composition was this mystical thing that only select chosen people were capable of doing. I remember in 2005 when Revenge of the Sith came out, I was just a little kid sitting there watching the behind-the-scenes specials on the DVD, just in awe of the London Symphony Orchestra performing John Williams' music and thinking, I want to do that. And yet, for the longest time, I didn't, because I just had no idea where to get started. So knowing that I'm helping other people overcome that block and other people to realize that composition really should be available to anyone who wants to write music. So long story short, thank you so much, Optimus Prime. I really appreciate that. Declan, thank you again for another great video. Awesome. My pleasure, Declan. Hopefully this stuff is starting to take some shape for you. Declan, for those of you who don't know, is the patron who won the vote, and it's his characters that we are writing these suites for. So maybe this will be the theme. I don't know. We're going to be writing a entirely different phrase next. We're going to be taking this motif and turning this one into a full melody. That one I already know is going to be fun to write. All right, cheers. AMZ has been cool. I had one question. Do you have any advice for applying musical form? Yes. So musical form, that's a tricky question. It depends on how you want to go with it, because especially like in the classical period, musical form was everything. There were basic forms for even the symphony had very strict forms. But then once we started getting into the Romantic period, marked by Beethoven starting that, suddenly a lot of forms started becoming more like suggestions than a rule book. Then Impressionism, in the Impressionistic period, rule books were out, especially with 20th century modernism. So it can be tricky about trying to apply forms. For me, personally, rather than trying to apply specific forms, like instead of trying to go with minuet and trio, which I've never tried writing a minuet and trio. I'm a little intimidated to try it, but just because it's got those classical connotations with it. For form, for me, I really like to think of things mostly as just phrases. So I can actually pull something up for y'all. My compositional process, and this document is available on Patreon, I believe. If it's not, so if any of my patrons are out there, please let me know, and I'll make sure to upload it to there. But this is actually something that I would like to eventually turn into a book. Sorry, I'm on my second screen over here. I've got an old beat up screen I use for stuff like this. Yes, here we go. So my composition process, like I said, I like to be a very structured person. Actually, we kind of went through this. Yes, see, this is an idea. I was thinking about doing a book for this, like a PDF online book for people. So book outline there. Let's see here. So yeah, I like to start with my story. I like to figure out what the steps of my story are, and that's basically my form. I like to find out what are the most important story beats for this piece, because again, I personally like to write music to tell a story. So I find out what are the most important moments in the story, and each of those are going to have their own section. So then after I've written the thematic material needed to tell the story, I figure out what the climax of each section is going to be, how it's going to fit for the whole piece. I basically, yeah, everything I consider for form. It might not be the classical stuff that you're thinking of, but I like to think of it all as storytelling. How much space do I need to tell this part of the story? If I have one phrase, or if I have two themes I'm using for a story, how many times does each one need to be heard, and how many times does it need to be developed? Other than that, unfortunately, right off the top of my head, I can't give you too much about classical forms. For me, like I said, I just basically go, once I found my themes, and we'll discuss that a little bit once we've picked the final themes for these videos. But once I've found out my themes, I try to figure out how am I going to tell the story with these. What instruments am I going to use when? How am I going to manipulate the 9 parameters of my music to help tell the story? And then I just use question and answer phrases based off that to help. And like I said, there's going to be a video in the melody series that goes in depth on question and answers in music. In fact, I'm a little worried. I finished typing up the score, the script for it, and I think the video might be too long, so I might have to split it into 2 separate videos. But I don't know. I'm working on that. But yeah, so unfortunately, I hope that's helpful. But that's what I would have to say for form. To summarize, focus on your story, how you're going to tell it, and then look at the material you have and ask yourself, how are you going to use this material to tell your story? And just focus on question and answer phrases to build naturally into one of another. I do plan on eventually doing an entire series on structure in compositions after the melody series. All right. Yes. Yeah. So it's hard time to actually apply musical form to the pieces you write. Don't worry about it. If form doesn't work for your music, it's not necessary. I mean, it can be very useful, and I'm not saying it's unimportant. But if it doesn't fit your piece, you don't need to force your piece into fitting into a cookie cutter. There have been plenty of incredible composers out there who didn't follow exact forms. Hector Berlioz and his Symphonie Fantastique did not fit the traditional symphonic structure of the time and really helped usher in the idea of a programmatic symphony, or a symphony that basically the predecessor to film music. Music that told a story, and the story was written in a program for people to read and follow along with the music. So don't worry too much about form. We'll cover that in the future. But for now, yeah, if it doesn't fit in your music, don't worry about it too much. AMZE, yes, I do have a Discord actually. Right now, I don't. It's tabletop composing. I think at first the idea was to make it like a Patreon exclusive. I don't know. I'm still working on the Discord, but yeah, if you can find it, go for it. I don't know if it's private or not. If you can't find it, chances are it's signed up. It's set up through Patreon, so you might have to join Patreon to join it. But yeah, and I'm looking to do some different stuff with that. I would enjoy doing some like live screening of movies or my favorite soundtracks, or looking through your guys' favorite soundtracks. I'm really interested in trying to build a community with this channel, because I know if you're like me, I'm a bit isolated in terms of like a community of musicians and composers. So it'd just be really cool to create an online presence of supportive people who are all learning how to compose together. So, yes. So yeah, short story, I do. All right. Yes. So with that, I don't see any other questions. But yeah, it is 7:02 where I'm at, so I'm gonna call it a day here. So as always, keep studying, keep working hard. Keep writing new music. It has been an absolute blast talking with you guys and developing this phrase with you. So I will see you next week on next Friday's live stream. So until then, have a nice day. That's it. And see you on... There we go.